I went on a motorcycle trip with my friends instead of my daughter's wedding. My daughter Katie called me 6 weeks before her wedding with this list of demands that made my head spin. She's 25 and getting married to this guy Brad who works at some tech company downtown. I was happy for her, really, but then she started laying down these crazy rules. No leather jackets at the ceremony, no talking about motorcycles during dinner, and definitely no riding my Harley to the venue because it would be too loud and embarrassing. Then she hit me with the big one. I had to cut my hair and shave my beard that I'd been growing for 15 years. I've been riding for 30 years. Met her mom on the back of my first bike when we were 20. Katie used to beg me to take her for rides around the neighborhood when she was little. She'd wear this tiny pink helmet and laugh so hard when we hit bumps in the road. But somewhere along the way, she decided my whole life was just embarrassing. She said Brad's family was very traditional and wouldn't understand my lifestyle. His parents were fancy lawyers who drove expensive cars and lived in some gated community. The thing is, I'd been planning this cross-country trip with my riding buddies for 2 years. We were gonna hit the Pacific Coast Highway, camp under the stars, and just be free for 10 days. Danny had just beaten cancer and said this might be his last chance to really ride. Tommy was going through a nasty divorce and needed to clear his head. Katie kept calling with more rules. I couldn't mention that I work construction, had to pretend I was some office guy. She even asked me to wear a fake wedding ring so people wouldn't know I was divorced. She wanted me to basically become a completely different person for one day. 2 weeks before the wedding, she called crying because Brad's mom had seen a photo of me on Facebook at a bike rally. Katie was mortified that I looked like a biker stereotype and begged me to at least try to look more respectable. That's when I realized what was happening. My own daughter was ashamed of me, not because I was a bad person or a bad father, but because I didn't fit into her new boyfriend's perfect little world. I looked at my bike sitting in the garage, the same one that had carried me through the worst times in my life when her mom left. The same bike I'd used to pick Katie up from school every day when she was 8 and going through that phase where she hated the bus. So I made my choice. I packed my saddlebags, left a card with $500 for the happy couple, and hit the road with Danny and Tommy. We rode through Colorado mountains while Katie walked down that aisle without me. We watched the sunset over the Pacific while she danced her first dance. I turned off my phone for 10 days. When I finally checked it, there were 47 missed calls from Katie and countless texts calling me selfish and heartless. The voicemail started angry, but by the end, she was just crying, asking why I chose a stupid motorcycle over the biggest day of her life. But here's what she didn't understand. I didn't choose the bike over her. I chose being myself over pretending to be someone I'm not. I spent 30 years working with my hands, building houses, raising her as a single dad after her mom took off. I wasn't about to apologize for any of that. 3 months later, Katie called me. Turns out Brad's perfect family wasn't so perfect after all. His dad had been cheating on his mom for years, and the whole marriage fell apart right after the honeymoon. Brad blamed Katie for not warning him about his family's drama, even though she had no idea. She was sitting in some coffee shop telling me how fake everything had been, how she spent the whole wedding trying to be someone she wasn't, just like she'd asked me to do. She said she kept looking for me during the father-daughter dance and realized she'd given up the only real person in her life for a bunch of people who didn't actually care about her. Katie asked if I could forgive her. I told her there was nothing to forgive. She was just trying to fit in. But I also told her that the man who raised her was the same man she'd been embarrassed of, and if she wanted a relationship with me, it had to be with the real me. We had lunch last week. I rode my Harley to the restaurant, and when Katie saw me pull up, she actually smiled. She said she'd forgotten how cool her dad looked on that bike. Now she's learning to ride herself.